This is my werewolf deck, a little more in depth explained. The main object of the game is to win by damage, combat damage, hopefully with trample. We have Tovolar Dire Overlord as the commander. Whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So he's a good card draw engine. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves and or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. So Tovolar is a good way to keep your werewolves on the backside. When transformed, it's Tovolar, the Midnight Scourge. Whenever a wolf or a werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Pay X, red and green. Target wolf or werewolf you control gains +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. So you can do a good buff there too. If only we could keep him alive long enough. Some of the miscellaneous cards in the deck. We've got Weary Prisoner. It's a 2/6 defender. When you transform him, Wrathful Jailbreaker, a 6/6 that has to attack each combat if able. Tavern Ruffian. It's 2/5. Turns into Tavern Smasher, 6/5. Tireless Hauler, Vigilance, 4/5. Turns into Dire Strain Brawler with Vigilance, 6/6. Burly Breaker, Ward 1, 6/5. Turns into Dire Strain Demolisher with Ward 3 and 8/7. Bird Admirer, it has Reach, 1/4. Turns into Wing Shredder with Reach, 3/5. Hook Hand Mariner, it's 4/4. Rip Hook Raider, can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, becomes a 6/4. Spell Rune Painter, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. It's a 2/3. Turns into Spell Rune Howler. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +2/+2 till end of turn. It's a 3/4. And we've got Werewolf Pack Leader. 3/3. Whenever Werewolf Pack Leader attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, draw a card. So another way to draw cards. Pay 3 and a green. Until end of turn, Werewolf Pack Leader has base power and toughness of 5/3, gains trample, and isn't human. We've got Fearless Pup. It's a 1/1. You can boost it for 2 and a red, and it gets +2/+0 till end of turn. Pack Song Pup. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control another wolf or werewolf, put a +1/+1 counter on Pack Song Pup. When it dies, you gain life equal to its power. Hopefully, every turn you'll be putting a +1 counter on it. And Primal Adversary. Trample. When Primal Adversary enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 green any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, put that many +1/+1 counters on Primal Adversary. Then up to that many target lands you control become 3/3 wolf creatures with haste that are still lands. For a little bit of extra mana in here, we have Weaver of Blossoms. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color when you transform it, or when it becomes night. You get to tap it for 2 mana of any one color. We've got Cemetery Prowler. Whenever Cemetery Prowler enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. We have Dire Strain Rampage. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. If a land was destroyed this way, its controller may search your library for up to 2 basic lands and put them onto the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, its controller can search their library for a basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped. This card here, you can use it to remove something of the opponent's, but you can use it on one of your lands and ramp up to bring 2 lands into play. You got Path to the Festival. Search your library for a basic land card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. If there are 3 or more basic land card types among lands you control, scry 1. It has flashback as well. We have Cartographer's Survey. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom. We have the Moon Silver Key. If you pay 1 and tap it and sack it, search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card. You're most likely going to be using it to look for the Celestus. If you already have the Celestus in hand, then you can look for a basic land. With the Celestus here, if it's neither day or night, it becomes day when it enters the battlefield. You can tap it for a mana of any color. If you pay 3 and tap it, if it's night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night. So it's just another way to try to turn it back to night so all your werewolves can transform. Pay 3 and tap it. If it's night, oh yeah, I just said that. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain 1 life. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So you have a bit of card draw there as well. We have Unnatural Moonrise. It becomes night. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So another way to transform your werewolves and hopefully draw a card. Into the Night. It becomes night. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many +1. So a good way to fill up your hand. Or switch out cards. I forgot to make note that Unnatural Moonrise has flashback, so we can use it twice. We also have Wolfkin Outcast. Costs 2 less to cast if you control a wolf or werewolf. When it transforms, it's Wedding Crasher. Whenever Wedding Crasher or another wolf or werewolf you control dies, draw a card. So, just another way to draw cards. Aside from ramp, werewolves do tend to be a little bit expensive. So we've got Howlpack Piper. Can't be countered. If you pay 1 and a green and tap it, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If it's a wolf or werewolf, untap Howlpack Piper. So this is one of those times where it's almost nicer to have your werewolves in human form before transforming them. It transforms into Wild Song Howler. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield or transforms into Wild Song Howler, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your library. Oh, you can dig through, look for some more werewolves. Because even if you don't have it on the Howlpack Piper side, we've got Monster Manual. It's got Zoological Study, but where you can mill 5 cards, return a creature card milled this way to your hand. I use it more for pay 1 and a green, tap it. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's a cheap way to get a werewolf out. We've got Green Sun's Twilight for X and a green. Reveal the top X plus 1 cards of your library. Choose a creature card and or a land card from among them. Put those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is 5 or more, instead put the chosen cards onto the battlefield or into your hand and the rest at the bottom of your library. So pay 5, you'll get a land and a werewolf out, hopefully, or a wolf. We've got Storm the Festival. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put up to 2 permanent cards with mana value 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. It's also got flashback, although it's a little hefty at cost. We have Kindred Summons, which is also a little hefty for 5 and 2 green. But choose a creature type. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards of the chosen type, where X is the number of creatures you control of that type. Put those cards onto the battlefield. It might be hefty, but if you have a lot of werewolves out, it might be worth it. We've got Turn the Earth. So this is just ways to get things back. Choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle them into their libraries. So you can do that to yourself to hopefully get back into one of your werewolves you lost, or you can do it to an opponent to make sure they don't get something that's in their grave that they can bring back. You have Gaia's Will. It says suspend 4 for 1 green. Until end of turn, you may play lands and cast spells from your graveyard. If this card would be put into your if a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, exile the card instead. And we've got Dryad's Revival. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It's also got flashback. Just another way to get things back. We have a little bit of removal here, hoping that the werewolves grow big enough to be scarier than most things on the battlefield. But that way we've got things to deal with enchantments and artifacts. Outland Liberator. Pay 1 to sacrifice Outland Liberator. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. When transformed, it's a Frenzied Trap Breaker. Pay 1, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or whenever Frenzied Trap Breaker attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment. That way you can use it over and over. We have Return to Nature. Choose 1, destroy target artifact, or destroy target enchantment, or exile a card from a graveyard. We've got Moonlight Hunt. Choose target creature you don't control. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf deals damage equal to its power to that creature. And we have Ancient Grudge. Destroy target artifact. It's also got a flashback of 1 green. It's a very cheap flashback. So here's some ways to buff your werewolves up. We've got Village Watch. It's got haste. But when you transform it, it's Village Reavers. Wolves and werewolves you control have haste, which is, haste is actually really nice for the werewolves, so you can attack with them right away, especially if they're transformed. Keswick Naturalist. When it attacks, you add a red or a green. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. When you transform it, though, we've got wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. So a good little boost there. And whenever he attacks, he still gets the red or the green. Child of the Pack. If you pay 2, a red and a green, you create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. So token generation. Turns into Savage Packmate. It's got trample. Other creatures you control get +1/+0. So we give another buff to our werewolves. Fangblade Brigade. Or Brigand. Pay 1 and a red. It gets +1/+0 and gains first strike till end of turn. Turn it into Fangblade Eviscerator. 1 and a red. It lets it get +1/+0 and gain first strike. The second part will help boost the other werewolves. If you pay 4 and a red, creatures you control get +2 until end of +2/+0 till end of turn. You've got the Avabruck Caretaker, hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. On the transformed side, Hollowhenge Huntmaster. Other permanents you control have hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. That's significantly better, boosting all your werewolves. You've got Hound Tamer. If you pay 3 and a green, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Do that as many times as you want. Untamed Pup. It's got trample. Other wolves and werewolves you control have trample. And you can pay 3 and a green to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. The trample thing is big because you want your werewolves to get big and run over every other creature on the board. We put in Torgal, a Fine Hound. Whenever you cast your first human creature spell this turn, that creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each dog and or wolf you control. There are wolves in this deck, and the werewolves are human werewolves. So if you're bringing them in on the human werewolf side, they will get a +1/+1 counter for each wolf you have on the board. So you could potentially have an even bigger werewolf coming into play. You can also tap Torgal for a mana of any color. We have Immerwolf. How could we not have Immerwolf in a werewolf deck? It's got Intimidate, but other wolf and werewolf creatures you control get +1/+1. And non-human werewolves you control can't transform. We have Night Pack Ambusher. It's got Flash. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, you get to create a 2/2 green wolf token. We have Thundering Nightmare. It's got Soul Bond, so you pair this creature with another unpaired creature. As long as Thundering Nightmare is paired with another creature, each of those creatures have, whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So you could potentially grow the Thundering Nightmare into another creature. We have Contortionist Troop, just because they kind of fit with werewolves, to me. It enters the battlefield with X+1/+1 counters on it. And it's got Coven. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. We have Howling Moon. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target wolf or werewolf you control gets +2/+2 till end of turn. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Of course, we're going to have Unnatural Growth. It costs 1 green, 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 green. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Yes, of course, we'll have that in there for the win, hopefully. Full Moon's Rise. Werewolf creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. There's that trample again. If you sack Full Moon's Rise, you regenerate all werewolves you control. Got Howl Pack Resurgence. It's got Flash. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf get +1/+1 and has trample. So we got that trample again. We have Glorious Sunrise. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample. Most likely going to be picking that one. But the odd time you might pick target land gains add green, green, green till end of turn. Or draw a card if you control a creature with power 3 or greater. Or you probably won't pick gain 3 life, but you never know. We have Kamal, Heart of Krosa. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample till end of turn. So once again, we got a buff and trample. You probably won't use the 1 and a green until end of turn. Target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature token. You'll most likely be popping them on the board just for that first ability, the buff and the trample. So what else we got? We've got Arlen, the Pack's Hope. If you +1-er until your next turn, you may cast creature spells as though they had flash, and each creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So there's another buff. Or you can -3-er to create 2 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. So we're creating tokens now. On the night side, it's Arlen, the Moon's Fury. If you +2-er, you get to add a red and a green, so we got some mana. Or you can 0-er. Until end of turn, Arlen, the Moon's Fury becomes a 5/5 werewolf creature with trample, indestructible, and haste. We've also got Tovolar's Huntmaster. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. So creating more wolves. Turns into Tovolar's Pack Leader. When Tovolar's Pack Leader enters the battlefield or attacks, create 2 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. So you're doing it over and over again. If you pay 2 and 2 green, another target wolf or werewolf you control fights target creature you don't control. You have Infestation Expert. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. Those 1/1s will probably be good for chump blocking. Whenever infested werewolf enters the battlefield or attacks, create 2 1/1 green insect creature tokens. You have a Keswick Wolf Rider. It's just a human knight, but if you pay 2 and a red and tap it, exile 3 cards from your grave, and you create a 3/2 red wolf creature token. It only cost 1 to bring out. We have Hollow Hedge Overlord. It's got Flash. At the beginning of your upkeep, for each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Want it to stick around, maybe cast it at the end of your opponent's turn, just before your turn. We've got the Ranger class. When a Ranger class enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 wolf creature token. If you level it up with 1 and a green, whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature, so we get a buff there. A token, a buff, and if you level it up again, 3 and a green, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. I usually just bring it up to level 2, but another way to make tokens is we have Howl of the Night Pack. You put a 2/2 green wolf creature token into play for each forest you control. So if we have this in here, of course we have Yevimaya, Cradle of Growth. Each land is a forest in addition to its other land types. That way we can make as many wolves as possible with Howl of the Night Pack. Especially if you're paying 7. Here are a few cards to help as well. We've got the Pyreheart Wolf. When it attacks, each creature you control can't be blocked this turn except by 2 or more creatures. So you're essentially giving your werewolves a menace. We've got the Lambholt Harrier. If you pay 3 and a red, target creature can't block this turn. So if they do have really huge creatures, you can prevent those ones from blocking. And we have Dolmen Gate. For 2, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. Making your werewolves even more scary when there's a slim chance that they can die during combat. And the last cards in the deck, we've got Lambholt Raconteur. When you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. If it's transformed, it's the Lambholt Ravager. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. We've got the Volatile Arsonist, Menace and Haste. When it attacks, it deals 1 damage to each of up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target player, and or up to 1 target planeswalker. That's pretty good. It turns into the Dire Strain Anarchist, Menace Haste. Whenever it attacks, it deals 2 damage to each of up to a target creature, target player, and or planeswalker. We've got the Ill-Tempered Loner. When it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. You could also pay 1 in a red, so it gets +2/+0. It turns into Howlpack Avenger. Whenever a permanent you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. It also has that buff again. And we have the Runebound Wolf. So this here, if you pay 3 in a red, Runebound Wolf deals damage equal to the number of wolves and werewolves you control to target opponent. So it's just another way of knocking the opponent down or knocking the opponent right out of the game. And that was the Werewolf deck, a little more in depth than explained. Hopefully it gave some people some ideas, and hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.